Hello folks and welcome to Warwickshire's Past Unboxed. This is a new series hosted by Heritage and Culture Warwickshire where we lift the lid on some of our county's more fascinating historic records and artefacts. We'll be sharing our thoughts and discussions with experts and hopefully inspire you to find out more about these fantastic collections. First up, I'm going to have to apologise about the audio quality for this introduction. I am currently in self-isolation and can't access our proper recording equipment, but we didn't want to delay getting this video out as we feel it's a good way of keeping you connected to our county's historic records while the archive is closed. As this is a pilot episode, we'd love to hear your thoughts. If you like what you see and want us to make more videos like this, then let us know by liking, commenting, or subscribing to our channel. So, for our first ever episode of Warwickshire's Past Unboxed, we have ironically ended up choosing a bundle of documents which is not in a box and not directly related to Warwickshire. Well, they were discovered in our coal mining collections as part of the current Mining the Seams project, and we're sure that you'll understand why we've made this choice for our first documents when you watch the video and see quite how special they are. So, without further ado, let's begin unboxing. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Beck, one of the archive assistants on the Mining the Seams project, and I'm here with Laura, the cataloguing archivist for the project.
Hello.
Katie, another archive assistant.
Hello.
And Donata, our Senior Conservator.
Hello there, hi.
And we've come across in the Warwickshire Miners Association collection this bundle of deeds right here. Beautiful thing. And it says it's deeds to Durston Court in Swanage, which is the Warwickshire Miners' Convalescent home. And the most interesting thing about it is, I don't know if you can see, we'll show you a little picture if not, but it says that it's old deeds and documents damaged in the Blitz. So we're going to open it up and see what we find inside.
Wow, this is going to be a surprise.
Yeah. I think we're all hoping it smells of fire damage, which you wouldn't be able to tell on video.
A few documents at the top.
Pop these over to the side here.
It says damaged from fires. I think we need to be very careful to see what. It doesn't look much at the minute.
Yeah, we've got some paper on the top there.
And some document. Let's turn it really gently.
I don't know if it's visible on camera, but at the bottom here we can sort of see some charred documents, but it'd be quite exciting to see if they're... we've got a bit of wrinkling here.
And this is a paper which has been treated to look like parchment, but actually this is not. This is just a normal paper. But there you are. I've got some
so cool.
Really interesting. This is definitely, it must have been at tremendous heat. This is a parchment deed which has solidified completely, and the shellac seal has melted completely,
all along here, yeah.
And now is attached to this piece of paper.
So it was obviously with the paper when that heat happened, because it's melted onto the paper.
Yes, definitely, and we can see this thread is the sewing thread on the side of the parchment deed, which can give us the original size of.
So it would have
yes, it would have been much bigger than that.
Should we see if we can hold it just a little closer to the camera, because you can see, I don't know if it's possible to see, but there's like writing in here that looks almost translucent, like there's like the layers of parchment and you can see through that.
Let's see what else we find. Yeah. Someone must have gone through this parcel already though, because we see some evidence, some marking here that is not mirroring on the on this piece of paper. So let's see what else we have. We're touching this with naked, clean hands.
Ooh, is that? I wonder if that's.
You can see
there
is a mark that. So clearly, someone has opened this already in the past. We are not the first ones to do that. Oh, I'm sorry. And something must have sat between these two sheets of paper.
I mean, presumably they'll have found them bomb damaged and then tried to salvage them somehow. So
Yeah.
whether they
And then repackaged it. Let's see very gently what's going on here.
It's amazing how well preserved. I mean, there's this damage here, but like they don't seem to be fire damaged at all. So if it's
No.
not like it was a fire, like they're not charred, have they?
No, they've not.
The paper,
And the paper, it looks in remarkable good condition.
which is strange because you always feel like paper is much more vulnerable and delicate than like parchment, but
Can take an awful
Yeah.
lot. And look at here. So
Mm.
going from what we found earlier on, so
See if we
we have something must have been here. So I believe some parchment must have been removed. We've got just the shellac, the wax melted here, and the paper has been ripped as if something was attached.
okay. So someone's
There,
tried to
yeah.
separate them
remove
apart.
Ooh, look at
Ooh.
whoopsie!
Oh dear.
Look at this. So we've got something in between these two pieces of paper, and clearly someone has tried already. Let's see if we can focus this a little bit better to separate them. Can you see there is some damage to the paper, but this is some
So tiny.
parchment which has obviously shrunk tremendously, and there is more, as Beck said, at the bottom of this pile that we can see.
I think it would be good if we can,
There.
if we're going to try, we could try and find some pictures of some parchment as it would be the size that a deed would be to compare, because then we can see how much it's shrunk.
Let's
Wonder
see
that
if
could
we
then,
got.
like-
Oh la la!
Oh look,
Again, as per before,
that was like sewed to the paper.
yes. So the sewing thread is still there.
Oh, and look, it's like all cracked down there. You can see the writing. It's like phyllo pastry.
It's cracked completely, and we've got some residue of some sort of paper fibres, and in the shrinking process, due to probably tremendous heat, if we turn this over, look what has happened on the other side. So the paper has been pulled completely by the parchment.
That's fascinating.
That's absolutely fantastic.
It's beautiful. So,
And there is much more to come.
so presumably we can't get. I mean, we obviously can't open out these. It's like it's quite solid.
It's
We can't open it
absolutely
out.
solid.
So, would there ever be a way to find out what's written in these?
That would be fantastic if we could. In this moment, probably not with the tools that we've got here,
Yeah.
but we may sort of ask for help, especially bigger institutions. They've got the capacity sometimes to scan
Okay. Yeah.
and
So, like in layers.
a little bit like what happened to human beings in hospitals when we do MRI scans.
Yeah.
There are maybe there is the possibility to find a little bit more, especially measuring the depth of.
It's amazing how much more interesting this document becomes when it's just like damaged. It's just some deeds. Then I mean they're fascinating in their own right, but just
We're not saying much about the content of these.
no, I suppose. Yeah.
Parcel. Laura, do you know anything more on what?
No, so I just know what's on the outside. I've not actually looked through them yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, the convalescent home itself was for miners who had been injured, or
yeah, so it's for mostly retired miners or people who have been injured. It was originally before it was the miners' convalescent home. It was a school. The school moved out due to the Blitz, I think.
and it's down in Swanage, so it's not in
In
Warwickshire.
Dorset, yes.
Yeah.
So,
So
they had a coach and they'd take miners down every couple of weeks, so they could have a couple of weeks away to recuperate.
So, and this bomb damage, presumably they would have
Wow.
stored these deeds there. Look at that. Oh, it's tiny. It looks like a little dog chew or something. And the writing's just shrunk to be so delicate.
So we lift one very gently.
Brilliant.
Whoa. This is quite heavy, and you can see how small, and the writing is just like a little.
It's like the
doll.
It's like Shrinky Dinks.
Writing.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody else had these when they were kids. The little Shrinky Dinks where you like colour in, put them in the oven and bake them. So these haven't been burnt; they've been baked, and that's what's made them solid.
Yeah, look at the
Absolutely.
red.
Yeah.
It's really bright.
It's like jellified. Oh yeah, like along here, it looks like the red pigment is like really.
There is a very, very high concentration of pigment. If you can see the red here, along. Let's see, along this line, for example. Because
So it's actually
all
really
the red
bright.
that would have been painted on a longer deed.
Yeah.
Now that this has shrunk so heavily,
Look how
the
it's, like,
concentration.
such harsh lines. So we're taking real care to keep them in the order we're finding them in, but we don't think this is the order they were in.
Found.
No.
This it looks to me quite clear that someone in the past has come through this parcel already, and maybe try to separate them even from the damage that we've seen.
This one's really interesting because it's all lumpy. It's like it's got paper inside it. Am I okay to pick that one up?
Yes.
So it's all kind of, I don't know if you can see, it's all lumpy because it's got that
sheet of paper inside, or probably more than one,
that have presumably not been damaged by the fire, but the parchment's just like sucked in around them. This is amazing. That was that way up, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I think we believe that this parcel must have been for a long period of time exposed to an incredibly high level of heat.
Yeah.
And the paper is, as I said already, in remarkable good condition. Probably a little bit dry, but still flexible.
Yeah.
This shows the resilience of paper, actually, and these deeds, instead, they've shrunk like a shrinky, as you said earlier on, for whoever is aware of the little kiddies toy. Where you put a piece of plastic in the oven and it changes shape and size.
So what could be really cool is if
big.
we get some modern parchment and did some experiments to bake it in the oven and see how long it takes, maybe, to shrink it down to this size.
See how hot it was.
Yeah, how hot it... I mean, there must be scientific studies about like the effect of heat on parchment, perhaps, or...
I think this is definitely the next step.
Yeah.
Or even how hot the bombs would have got.
Yeah,
understand
was it an ongoing fire that was a building on fire next to it, or just the impact of that sudden flash? I mean, we're thinking we could look up what bombs happened in the area and like maybe pinpoint the exact time that this happened if we got a record.
Cool. And the date as well.
And how close that damage was, whether there's other records. This is really cool. Maybe we should talk to Swanage.
We should, yeah.
And this to me is the very parchment that probably was in between those two sheets of paper. You can see paper residue, paper fibers here on both sides. So I think that what we can do is then later try and see if we see any marking on the papers that would allow us to position some of these.
It's really interesting how some is very pale here and then it's obviously around the edges, but like this is kind of, whereas this seems more kind of translucent, whereas that's gone quite a solid but pale colour.
Sometimes
it's a shame we can't see the dates of when they were.
Yeah, whether it's like the type of parchment or composition.
Yeah. This is pulled the paper together, so you can see the paper that can't shrink was just scrunched up, and the layers of the parchment beads instead they've gone really tiny, and
so that looks like
the shellac has all melted.
1903.
Yeah.
So there's some dates on these ones.
Oh yeah, 1889.
Something.
This is a fantastic parcel, I think.
Yeah. Have you seen things like this before? I mean,
we have here in the office some parchment that was in direct contact with fire.
Yeah.
And actually I've got it here in a box.
yeah.
And the appearance of it is not quite the same. So this was really close to fire. So you can see that it's
a lot more wrinkled, isn't it?
very wrinkled
Whereas
compared to what we
flat.
have.
It's got sort of looks like charring around the edge as
Yeah.
well.
And it's got some, the edges are also quite dark.
Compared to the light middle. We didn't mention that this doesn't actually smell of fire. We were sort of hoping it would.
Yeah, I can't smell
I
anything.
can't smell, no.
No fire and no smoke
No,
either.
It's
So again, this sort of maybe brings it back to the idea that this was not that close overall to the real fire, but just exposed to an incredible high level of heat. But I think we'll do a bit more research on it and then come back and let you know.
Brilliant, thank you very much. This is
Thank
really
you all.
exciting. So that's it for our first episode of Warwickshire's Past Unboxed. We hope you enjoyed it and found these records as fascinating as we did. Let us know your thoughts and comments. Have you come across documents that have been damaged in this way? Do you have any knowledge about the chemical processes that could cause parchment to act like this? Do you think we should try baking our own parchment and share the results? And of course, as this is a pilot episode, we'd love to hear your thoughts more generally. Is this kind of video something you'd like to see more of? Are there particular time periods you're interested in or types of documents you'd like to see us unbox next? So let us know, like, comment below, subscribe to the channel, all of the usual. Until next time.